Over the summer, parts of the UK have experienced record-breaking temperatures and heat waves, which are happening more often and for longer because of climate change. It's meant that some emergency measures have been introduced in parts of England and Wales. Well, I travelled to Gloucestershire in the southwest of England, where part of one famous river has dried up. Here's more.
Mile after mile of parched land, these fields are usually green. But after weeks of hot weather and little rain, huge areas of the UK are dry. And the change is even visible from space. Last week, the government declared a drought in parts of England, which means that there's less water available than is expected. Where I'm standing right now is usually filled with water. This right here is thought to be the starting point of the River Thames, but you're probably more used to it looking like this. But because of the really dry weather, the water where it's supposed to start here instead is starting 5 miles down the riverbed. I'm meeting Alistair Knowles, an expert from the Rivers Trust.
So typically you'd be in a pond right now, you'd be getting wet, I would be getting wet. It's normal in the summertime that this exact source of the Thames would dry up. It's been hot, we get hot weather, it's not the only summer we've had hot weather. So this is normal. What is not normal, it's happened earlier, it's drier for much further. This weather is having a real effect on the source of rivers like the Thames and other rivers, and they are pushing further and further down what should be their wet natural pathways to the sea. This kind of heat, this kind of drought condition is a real stress for all of the animals, all of the plants right down that river.
The temperature in Gloucestershire has just hit 33 degrees Celsius. And if you have a look, the ground here is so dry that it's not soaking up any water compared to how it normally would during summer months.
When we have a drought, the ground gets very hard, and that makes it harder for the water to soak in.
Andy Mackenzie studies the way the climate and the weather can affect the earth. Andy, some parts of the UK are officially experiencing a drought. Is this something that we should be worried about?
I don't think we need to be worried, for instance, about water in our houses. There'll be enough water for your tap, but the worst effects of the drought are going to be felt by farmers and by wildlife. We mustn't waste water because we haven't got enough water to waste.
So is that the reason why we've got a hosepipe ban?
Yeah. Hosepipes use a lot of water. You can use as much water in an hour with a hosepipe as you'd use in your house in the whole day.
What part does climate change play in this weather at the moment?
So we know that the heat waves that we're having at the moment are partially caused by climate change. In the future, we expect it to get even warmer in summers, and that could make droughts worse. But it really tells us that we have to be careful with water. We have to look after the water that we have, and we have to think about how climate change might make that water even more valuable in the future.
Temperatures aren't expected to stay as hot as they have been so far over the summer, and rain is expected this week. But for now, parts of England remain in drought conditions, and measures, including hosepipe bans, are staying in place.